Recap, we're going to use the test statistic t, since we do not know the standard deviation of the population. Okay, but however, we do know the standard deviation of the sample, so we're going to use that instead. Right, so let's calculate everything by writing down what we know. Okay, so first x, which is the sample mean. Okay, so you know that the mean here is 21.909. Okay, so let's get that. Okay, next is mu0, which is the population mean, which we know from earlier is 25. Right, and then s, which is the sample standard deviation. Okay, so let's copy that from the sample. Okay, and then n, which is the sample size. Okay, so we can check the sample size by scrolling down, seeing how many observations there are. So we can see that there are 44 customer calls in this sample. It's also there in our descriptive statistics. The count is 44. So let's put that in. Right, so now we have to calculate our t-statistic. Okay, so the numerator for the t-statistic is x bar minus mu0. Okay, so x is the standard deviation. So let's, sorry, x is the sample mean. And we subtract the population mean. Okay, so we know that the sample is minus 3 minutes. So 3 minutes below the population mean. Okay, and let's calculate the denominator. So this is the standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size, which gives us 2.9. So now the t-statistic is the numerator divided by the denominator. Right, so let me give you the formula text. So you can pause here and check if you need the formulae. Okay, so what does this mean? The t-statistic measures in terms of standard error. If you remember the z-score, a score of -1 meant one standard deviation below the mean. A score of +1 meant one standard deviation above the mean. So similar to the z-score, the t-statistic measures how many standard errors above or below the population mean is the sample mean. Okay, so in this case, a t-statistic of -1 will mean one standard error below the mean. So we know that the standard error is 2.93 minutes, so almost 3 minutes. Okay, and we know that the population mean is 25. So our sample mean is one standard error, or about 3 minutes below the population mean. So the population mean is 25, and the sample mean is approximately 22. So that's what the -1 means. In this case, it's a little more, -1.052. So it's 1.052 standard errors below the population mean.